married. And even if I wasn't, my job is not to be your sex symbol. I am not a Fox News anchor. I don't even own a push-up bra.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That is kind of your job as a conservative. You're supposed to be a good God-fearing Christian woman. Shut the fuck up, lose some weight, and make me a sandwich. What are you doing even trying to talk? She left the left.
All right, here. I'll play my intro. Okay, anywho. Yeah, what's up, guys? So this is a reaction to a reaction. I'm eating my dinner as I react to this and give my feedback. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I don't care if you have a problem with this. We're gonna run it.
For fascism and got eaten alive by the right. Video by Dark Brandon. Yesterday I told you we were going to react to a video where a woman tried to pull a Sydney Sweeney, right? She tried to do the whole failed influencer, failed insert whatever here to far right, MAGA Republican, racist pipeline grift. She tried to do that, but didn't really work out for her. Let's find out why.
Hey there, folks. Hope you're doing well today. Today, we're going to be looking at a reporter who used to be on the left, but he then started seeing what they were doing on the right and was like, wow, all those
used to be on the left.
Sexists and racists, that must be a great place to be.
Right.
So she joined the right, and now instead of those people on the
Is no one gonna ask the elephant in the room question? Why is this is this a cheetah or a leopard? Why is there a fine behind cheetah talking to me right now? Is this the cheetah girls? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. But we'll continue. I don't know why there's a chicken talking to me.
right, appreciating the reporting she's doing about the left, they instead spend a lot of time calling her fat and ugly, which is strange. You would think the, racists and sexists would be more welcoming to women. I hear sexism is a really big tent.
It's crazy how MAGA is attractive to women. That's insane.
Let's take a look.
I'm an analyst and independent journalist covering the far left in America.
Here she is. Here she is. Let's listen.
America. But if you listen to the conservative right, you would think that I'm competing in a beauty pageant.
Yeah, look at the comments she's responding to. This looks like it's on Twitter. You need to lose weight. Fuck. You need to lose weight. Full stop, period, mark. You know this is serious. You can't make a living calling out Antifa and commies when you look like the stereotype of them.
What's Antifa? Does anybody know what Antifa is? No? Yeah, neither do I. I need to look it up later.
In all honesty, it's pathetic shit. Being fat alone is pathetic. Ooh, damn, they cooking her.
Pageant of some sort. I bring this up because I have gotten minimally hundreds, but maybe into thousands of messages over the past several weeks.
You don't even look white. You know what I'm saying? You one of them off-brand whites. You not German or none.
Ever since
you fucked up. You got a big ass shoulder tat is from what it looks like. Your makeup is very just not good. You know what I'm saying? You're carrying a little bit of weight on you. You got red hair. What were you thinking? Your teeth need to be fixed. What were you thinking?
Now, hot take. She fine. If y'all don't want her, send her my way. I got plenty. This woman is beautiful. Her eyes, she got really nice eyes. I like round faces, you know what I'm saying? And her hair don't look that crazy. I don't mind. Her hair look pretty fine to me. I don't know about y'all. She look fine to me. And she sounds intelligent. So, send her over here. If y'all don't want her, it's fine. It's fine. Let a real man take care of her. I'm not saying that a real man, Don. I'm not saying that a real man. I know you're role playing into the whole. I know you're role playing and being sarcastic. I got you. Relax, okay? Relax. Keep your energies high, okay?
you got to be skinny, blonde, ton of makeup, maybe even a little bit of plastic surgery, then come back.
I came back from my West Coast trip where I went undercover at 5 different leftist events and locations. I was followed by Turning Point USA, who documented the whole thing and released a video about it. But do you know the number one comment that I get from the right by far is this?
Oh, yeah.
Is this. I've gotten hundreds.
Turning Point sounds like one of those programs for alcoholics or drug addicts. You want to change your life and stuff, like rehab. It sounds like the name of a rehab center. Turning Point. What is Turning Point? I'm not involved in politics, so it sounds like a rehab thing. I mean, she does. Let me not judge people.
If not even into the thousands of comments about my weight.
It's not like the president of the United States, a role model for so many people, is out here, I don't know, saying similar things about Rosie O'Donnell. It's not like he's out here normalizing this behavior, and you yourself are actively working to help these people win. You're like, ooh, this would be a fun way to spend the rest of my life, losing my rights and having people call me fat and ugly.
Yeah, what a shocker, right? The leader of your party is constantly criticizing women for not fitting the beauty pageant ideal that he thinks all women should subscribe to. What a shocker that the people on that side of the political aisle are criticizing you for not looking a certain way.
People wonder why I am so angry at conservatives. Every time I say,
You're angry because you're bored. When people do this internet stuff, they're just bored. They got nothing else to do. They have no hobbies. They have no life. Now, it's not a bad. It's okay to not have hobbies or a life. That's 80% of America. Most people go to work, go home, watch videos, or comment on stuff. That's majority of Americans that are above the age of 25. Let me specify that. Yeah.
hey, here's some information about the far left that's going to get you ahead of them, that's going to tell you how they're strategizing, tell you how they're organizing, tell you what's coming next. People wonder why I get so angry when people don't listen. It's because I literally get dozens of comments like this every single day from the right.
You think the right? You think the men on the right are going to see this and be like, "Aw,
You need to lose weight. You can't make a living calling out Antifa and commies when you look like the stereotype of them. In all honesty, it's pathetic. Being fat is pathetic."
And so here we
Yeah, it's so funny. All of these right-wing women who've gotten so used to feminism, who've gotten so used to the idea of equality and people not being judged by the way they look, and they go over to MAGA. It's so funny. These are going to be the people that are going to liberify MAGA, the conservative right.
see she's joined a community of people who forget about kindness and decency, but are meaner to her than the opposition. But does she take a second to reflect? Is there any introspection? Does she say, wait a second, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have got with a bunch of fascists.
Right, of course
no,
not.
Instead, in a different clip, we'll see that she's actually a fascist for burning books. But let's keep going and see where she goes next.
There are all different variations of this. They're not just this particular comment. They are all different variations of this. And this seems to be the thing that most right-wingers care about.
Yeah.
My weight. So conservatives. I'm a 44-year-old.
You're 40.
Married.
Wow, she's 44. She actually looks pretty good for 44.
Woman.
Hey, what I tell? Hey, no, Don, no. Bring her over here. You were talking. Nah. Bring her over here. You don't want her. And you married. Chill out. I'm joking. I get it.
And let me emphasize, married. I am married. And even if I wasn't, my job is not to be your sex symbol. I am not a Fox News anchor. I don't even own a...
What's a sex symbol? Bro, what are these words you're saying to me right now? What's a sex symbol? I'm scared to look it up because my algorithm is going to get messed up.
Push-up bra.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That is kind of your job as a conservative. You're supposed to be a good, God-fearing Christian woman. Shut the fuck up, lose some weight, and make me a sandwich. What are you doing even trying to talk?
And so this is what winning on the right looks like. You have to go out and make appeals to your own team to stop attacking you. But there was a very interesting unit of measure that she discusses there, comparing her beauty to a Fox News host. So again, the person that we're looking at was a Democrat for 20 years. And it was like, wow, fascism actually looks really cool. But as we clearly saw in those previous clips, she joined this group, and this group is immediately turning on her.
Yeah.
She has no regret and instead continues to double down. And we're going to see that here in these next clips. In this first one, she's going to set the stage of the threat that the left poses. Let's take a look.
I was a Democrat for 20. One of the criticisms I often get is, Carlin, you change your mind on your political tribes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand how it might seem like that from the outside perspective. I spent all my time studying the far left. I study their activists. I study their organizers. I know what they're doing. I know how much further along they are than most people think. I 100% believe that we have 10 to 15 years before the far left tries to overthrow the government. And I think once they try, they're going to win. I don't know exactly when it's going to be, but they're absolutely going to try at some point.
I take it back. Y'all can have her. Y'all can have her. Here's the first thing. Number one. The steak I'm eating is delicious. There's some good behind steak. You gotta try some. I already finished it, so you can't have any. Sorry. But the first thing is, wow, this is some really good steak, bro. Shoot. Okay, I'm full. Anywho, I love when people say these numbers. 10 to 15 years. How did you calculate this? Right? I come from a statistical background. So I know how math and statistical background. So I know how these calculations kind of work when they say these numbers. It's some type of equation that is made based on previous data that we've seen. But the number one issue is that people never predict the future, right? For example, 6 years ago, no one saw AI being a thing. Let's go even 6 years ago, no one expected COVID to be a thing. When COVID dropped, I thought it was going to be a 2-month thing. It became a 2-year thing. So keep in mind, when people say these numbers, it's so arbitrary. 10 to 15 years. So what does that mean? You mean more like 1 to 500 years? I'd believe that better. Just because we don't know what can happen. Literally, tomorrow, a meteorite can hit the earth. We ain't worried about politics no more. We don't know these things. We don't know what's in space. We don't know what happened to, you know what I'm saying? Like, people just say these numbers and it's like, I'd rather you say 1 year to 50 years. That sounds more, I know I took away a 0, shut up. That sounds more realistic of what would actually happen, right? Because people gotta understand, one thing goes wrong or one thing goes unexpected, your whole plan's screwed or it's sped up. Right? Where's my button? Garage! That's my button.
Also, just so much projection there. If we looked back in history, we have seen people try to overthrow the government and pretty recently, and guess what? It had nothing to do with those on the left.
Yeah.
But instead,
let's not forget which side of the political aisle initiated in an entire fucking civil war that resulted in the death of millions of people. It was the right. It was the conservatives fighting to keep black people as slaves.
Yo, I love when people that know politics, I'm not deep in politics like that, but I love when people that are deep in politics start making up words that make sense, though. So you question, how did I not know that word? When he said political aisle, I was like, political aisle? Nigga, what? Hold on, political... I need to enrich in my vocabulary. Apparently, my vernacular needs to be widened, needs to be refined.
And so, yeah, there's a long history of violence and treason that comes from one side of the political aisle, and that's the conservative side.
She's referencing is that progressive ideas are very popular or at least historically were. And based on the most recent election, it looks like things are swinging back that way. But only time will tell. In this next clip, we're going to hear her make a case of why fascism won her over. Let's take a look.
Okay.
At some point, I had to say, classical liberalism has gotten us in this position.
Isn't fascism the thing that led to the showers and you know where that people did not come back from? Or am I tripping? Ain't that what started World War II? Wait, are you allowed to even say this word on YouTube? YouTube, please don't ban me. I'm just saying what they're saying. Please, a brother didn't know. Please, have mercy.
Libertarianism is not going to solve the problem. Conservatism is not going to solve the fucking problem. The Democrats sure as shit are going to solve the fucking problem. There is one thing, and there is one thing only.
What's that?
That has the hope of beginning to solve the problem. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is basically fascism.
Wow.
Okay, so we just saw her make a call for fascism, and I hate to break the news to her, but when you look historically, fascism isn't generally good to women.
Right.
And again, let's put this in the context of she started the video by complaining that a bunch of people on the right, her peers, are personally attacking her.
Mm-hmm.
But real quick, let's just look at history, some snapshots of history, and understand, how women were impacted during fascist movements. So you could look to Nazi Germany of 1933 to 1945. Women were barred from many professions. And not only that, but women had limited educational opportunities.
Oh, yeah. Just understand this. In a fascistic America, you are going to lose the right.
Bro, how does he know all these words? Fascistic? You know what's crazy? This man didn't go to college. If he did, it was like junior college for basketball or whatever, right? I went to university and college and I graduated. Doesn't mean I'm smart. Doesn't mean I'm better than you. Let's clarify that right now. You can go to college and get a degree and it means absolutely nothing and you can be an idiot. Plus, what you hear my story about college, the way I think is also different than most people, but whatever. Anyway, the point I'm making is I went to college for probably like 6 years or whatever. And this man knows more fancy words than I do. It's simple as that. His vernacular is juicy. It got flavor to it. Fascist. I can't even spell that. How do you spell that? I'm about to look it up.
Right to vote. No doubt about it.
When we started looking towards higher education around universities, not to mention abortion and contraception became criminalized for Aryan women. Something we also saw in fascist Italy under Mussolini. Abortion and contraception became illegal. Divorce was tightly restricted. There was taxes and penalties for bachelors. Public jobs prioritized men. Female employment was squeezed. And as we start exploring some of these ideas, right, these are probably some of the appeal as we start looking towards red pillars or black pillars. As they want to take control over women, this would be one.
Did they say that they used to tax women for being bachelorettes? Or am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. If that's true, that's crazy. Taxing women for being single? Wow, that's an effective way to boost the what do you call that? Oh my gosh. The birth rate. The birth rate would skyrocket. 10x. What do you mean I'm getting taxed to breathe air and be single? Women are funny.
One mechanism to do so. And probably closely ties into the appeal to not only them, but the Groypers to fascism. But again, we're seeing the subject of this video. Join a community. Have that community personally attack her.
Yeah, that's really what's at the heart of the appeal of conservatism, especially to men, young white men in particular, right? They want everything handed to them. They want to get the job easily by removing competition in regards to minorities. So that's why they hate DEI and affirmative action. But of course, we're not going to talk about the fact that 1 in 4 white Americans are directly benefiting from the Homestead Act, which essentially gave away $650,000 worth of real estate to millions of white American men in the late 1800s, okay? Over 270 million acres of land was given away for free to white people, and 1 in 4 white Americans are direct beneficiaries of that. And then, of course, you can think about the whole marriage thing. They want to control women because they don't know how to get women. They don't know how to get women. They don't know how to keep women. And so the solution is not learning how to actually be attractive to a woman who is more empowered and has more freedom. The solution is let's take away their rights and force them into a position where they have to settle for a man.
Is this all just a combination of your conspiracy
What he said.
theories, the internet, people lacking critical thinking, as well as a bunch of really bad role models? Yes. Regardless, let's keep going.
And I firmly believe if we allow this queer shit to go on completely unchecked, they are going to destroy gender. They're going to destroy the meaning of gender. They're also going to abolish the nuclear family. They are going to get rid of all of the norms that uphold productive, stable society, because that is what the left...
How do you abolish the nuclear family? What, you think liberals are going to ban marriage? When was the last time liberals voted to take away a person's ability to do things, right? To make certain decisions for themselves. No, that's y'all shtick.
Just trying to do. And so for my money, if we can start banning queer shit and burning the books, I'm not joking about this. I want to have book burnings. I want book burnings to come back.
And so there you have it, a very enthusiastic pitch.
You know, I think a lot of the people who want to ban queer shit, for instance, now some of it is just good old-fashioned bigotry and conditioning, but I think a lot of it is because some of these people are actually on the spectrum, on the LGBTQ spectrum. They have gay feelings within themselves. And so when they recognize that, they come to the conclusion, oh, maybe I'm being turned gay. Look, man, nothing can turn you gay. Okay, reading a book ain't gonna turn you gay. Maybe that's why they call it homophobia. It's not that people are afraid of gay people. It's people are afraid that they're gay or that their kids are gay. And if they get exposed to some kind of information that really helps them to understand their own internal gayness, that they'll feel compelled to just live according to who they really are. Any straight man, any really straight man can tell you that there is nothing on earth that could ever make him want to be with a man, period, point blank, period. There's nothing there. There's nothing appealing. It's like being attracted to a fucking dog or a fucking, I don't know, a robot. It's just.
He looked to the right. He looked around to find something. Oh, I will kind of agree. I'll kind of agree. Yeah, I think just the thought of clapping cheeks with a man isn't very appealing to me. Like, I feel like if women piss me off well enough, I might just give up on the whole trying to get a woman thing or whatever, and I'll be like, let me give guys a try. I can see myself being with a man, but we're not clapping cheeks, we're not kissing, we're not holding hands, we're not doing any of that. I just don't feel it. Like, I don't have the urge to kiss a man. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the urge. Like, seeing a man's buttocks extremity hole ain't gonna make me, I'm not gonna get excited to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's weird. Like, I can appreciate a good looking fellow. Like, hey bro, you look good. Hey, you look clean. Hey, you handsome. Maybe I'll even say you cute. But would I want to actually like have intercourse, kiss, have intimacy, physical intimacy? Probably no. Emotional intimacy, I can see that happening in my head, but that's like I'm saying, like, women gotta piss me off, which is, boy, when I tell you, women gotta, yeah, it ain't too hard for a woman to piss off a man, I'll tell you that right now. But I digress.
It's just that it don't compute. It doesn't match up. I mean, if you just think about it. Okay, so the idea is what? People turn gay because they get exposed to gay shit. All right, so how do you explain the first gay person? If gayness is not something that naturally occurs, which we know it occurs naturally in nature all the time. Homosexual behavior has been observed in hundreds of animal species, ranging from insects to mammals, often involving same-sex courtship, peer bonding, mountain, or even long-term partnerships. Here are some well-documented examples. We're not talking about your dog that likes to hump the other boy dogs, okay? We're talking about full-blown homosexual relationships in all kinds of species of animals, okay? Penguins, swans. I mean, look at this. Around 20 to 25% of black swan parents are male-to-male couples who sometimes steal nests or form temporary relationships with females to get eggs. Swans are gay and adopt straight swan kids. But we can see it in mammals as well. I mean, giraffes, up to 90% of observed giraffe sexual activities between males, often involving necking and mounting. Shit. And around 8% of rams, which is the male version of a sheep, prefer other males exclusively, even when females are available. Now, I want you to check out this verse from the Bible. For what can be known about God is plain to them, because this is Romans chapter 1, verses 19 through 21. Because God has made it plain to them. Ever since the creation of the world, God's eternal power and divine nature, invisible though they are, have been seen and understood through the things God has made. So essentially, here Paul is saying we can understand God by looking at nature, which is why so many Christians like to argue things like homosexuality is unnatural because we don't see it in nature. But the reality is they're just fucking ignorant and haven't actually.
This is probably the strongest point I've ever heard in my life for proving that God doesn't hate gay people. Now I'm questioning that verse about the that city that got burnt down and the lying in bed verse. I need to do some research on those verses because. And this is where, reading the Bible sometimes can be very contradicting. Because one verse and another verse might say completely opposite things. But the context kind of seals it together. So I need to see the context of the lying in bed with another man verse. The burning the city down because of, the Sodom whatever. And then this. I need to cross-reference what's going on here. Because this is a very good argument.
Looked any of this shit up. But if we can understand the nature of God by looking at nature, what does it say about God that there's so many gay animals? The reality is this book was written 2,000 years ago and they didn't even really have the concept of sexual orientation didn't exist back then. Of course, if I was a Christian, I would just make the argument that, well, sin has corrupted the whole world, even the animals, even the giraffes and the dolphins and the elephants. But then if the entire world has been corrupted by sin and it is not a representation of God, then why would Paul ever tell us that we can understand the nature of God by looking at the world around us if it's been corrupted? Yeah, come on, man. This shit is light work. But you can't be turned gay, man. Okay, stop being afraid of it. Stop being afraid of your kids turning gay. It's either they gay or they not gay, bro. You deal with it. I think you can have some maybe homosexual desires deep down, and it takes you having some kind of an experience for you to really come to terms with it, thus the idea of being turned out. But we have plenty of examples of gay women being sexually assaulted. They don't turn straight after. You even have men getting raped in like prison, all right? Guys getting raped, they don't turn gay after that. And the ones that do, they were already gay to begin with. They already had that within them.
This is not about my personal feelings. This is not about what type of libertarian world do I, Karlin Borisenko, want. This is about what do I think is required to actually fix the problem that we are in. And sometimes when you're an adult, you have to say, you know what? It's time to put my fucking feelings aside.
And so there you have it. someone who was a Democrat for 20 years, making a case that sometimes you got to put your feelings aside, even though, in the beginning of this video, we saw her, pretty deep in her feelings about all these people that she joined and aligned with who were now personally attacking her. But that's it. This is what winning on the right.
Yeah, how about you put your feelings aside along with the potato chips, huh? Maybe then MAGA will embrace you.
Not only do you vote against your own interests and experience the outcomes of voting against your own interests, but you double and triple down, not thinking about those consequences or the outcomes of those decisions, which again will lead to more misery and disappointment and unhappiness in your life.
I really don't know what is attracting women to MAGA. I really don't. I get why it attracts young white men, because right now we are living in a time period where wealth inequality is at an all-time high. It is harder than ever for people to make ends meet. And so ideas, political movements that say, hey, you are entitled to have more because of your whiteness or your Christianness or anything of that nature, it sounds appealing because it means, okay, so it's not that I'm incompetent. It's not that I need to work harder, or it's not that we are currently actually being oppressed by an evil billionaire class that is robbing the American people blind. That's really what it is. I'm not saying that you, young white man, or you, any person, the problem with why you're struggling to make ends meet is because you're not working hard enough. Bullshit. Used to be, you could be a fucking mailman and take care of your whole family and pay a mortgage. Nowadays, you got to work 3 jobs just to make the ends meet. And so it's really the billionaire thing that's the problem, right? It's unregulated capitalism. That is what is fucking everybody. China has lifted over 800 million people out of poverty in the last 40 years.
I love how this man loved ChatGPT. He loved ChatGPT. You know what's funny? I'm actually an AI engineer. So I've been working in AI, statistics, mathematics, all this stuff for like 7 years. And it's so funny to me sometimes when these people use ChatGPT. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong, because I use ChatGPT almost every single day of my life. At first I didn't use it, but now I use it pretty much. I'm forced to use it for a lot of different reasons that I can't sit right now on camera. But I think it's funny and it's beautiful, it's cute, and it's just like, it's interesting. It's crazy to see how the world really is changing at a rapid pace, where people, like, we're all kind of using the same tools now. Before, maybe in school would use the same tools like Microsoft Excel or Word, but even then people wouldn't get really good at Excel unless it's like for a specific contest or something like that. But now, like, there's actually like a universal tool like AI and ChatGPT and other AI stuff that almost everyone's using. It's very interesting how a lot of these other companies, like Microsoft's definitely under attack. Google's under attack. Like, these companies might not exist anymore because all OpenAI has to do is put YouTube, Google, and shopping and all that stuff on its own platform, even buying stuff. Once they figure out how to, they already have it. Atlas is a browser they made now. Listen, we're all gonna end up using ChatGPT for everything, and it's interesting. But I like how he's trying to use something that's unbiased, because he thinks it's unbiased, which he's not too wrong about. But it's a whole thing. But yeah. But I would love to talk to him about some AI stuff. I'll probably blow his mind on what this thing can really do. He's kind of using it to half its potential, in my opinion. But he's learning, and it's nice to see the journey of learning how to use AI tools, because this is the future. What he's doing is what most people should be doing. Learning how to use it, start using it, and keep progressing your knowledge of how to use these tools. Yeah, pretty much.
Years. 800 million, the largest poverty reduction achieved in human history. What do you think 800 people just started pulling themselves up? 800 million people started pulling themselves up by their bootstraps? No. What happened was political reform. They changed the way in which wealth was distributed throughout the land and made it so that it was easier for everybody to get a piece of the pie. They lifted more people out of poverty in the last 40 years than we have people in America. But yet we, for some reason, can't.
Bro, just say you love China, bro. Bro, actually, you know what's crazy? I actually speak Chinese. 我可以讨你的。我的名字是你的妈妈，你的爸爸。Yeah, bro. Yeah. Just say you like China.
can't lift our poor people out of poverty when it's so much less and we make so much more money? How does that fucking make sense? Maybe the Chinese are smarter than the Americans, huh? Of course not. That's not what it is at all. But the idea of having shit handed to you, having a wife handed to you by taking away her rights and brainwashing her to believe in this conservative Christian bullshit, you know, making her afraid to cheat on you because she's afraid she's going to burn in hell forever. That way you don't actually have to learn how to be attractive to a woman and maintain your attraction to that woman or her attraction to you.
Now, this is a real problem in America or in general. Or not in America, it's every relationship. A lot of people get married to people and they stop trying to be attractive to their partner. They get married to people and they think, oh, I'm going to stop trying and you still got to love me because we have this covenant. Bumbleclot. You, if I met you a certain way, what makes you think, oh, I like you in a different way? I chose you, not the girl down the street. If I wanted the girl down the street, I would have chosen the girl down the street. You know what I'm saying? And this is something like I get in trouble about. If I dated my girl big, that means I like you big. Right? And if I married you big, I like you big. If I married you skinny, I dated you skinny, I like you skinny. If you go from skinny to big and big to skinny, I have a problem. Why? Or you stop doing date nights, right? You stop doing what he likes. You start doing only what you like. And all this selfishness is a problem. Like, you gotta understand, when you're dating somebody, you gotta stay attractive to them, or they're gonna leave. Why is that so hard to understand? I'm stuck with you behind for 80 years. Keep it exciting, keep it going, keep looking good. And you can't look the same too. If you look the same, like some people like that, some people don't. But that's the thing too, you gotta switch it up. But if you're too lazy, don't get married, don't date. Because if you lazy right now, imagine 40 years from now, when he hit his midlife crisis, he looking at you like, this is what I married? Do you want your man to look at you and be like, this is what I married? Do you want him to just tolerate you? Do you want him to just be like, I like her just because we're together? Or do you want him to actually want to be with you, choose to be with you? Think twice.
You can just use the fear of God to keep her from cheating on you, right? It's all about having shit handed to you easily. And so I get the appeal, but women, I don't get it, right? You want to gravitate towards the side that says you are inferior to men and that your rightful position is being dumb, pregnant, and barefoot making me a fucking sandwich. Is that really what you want? Because that is what you are signing up for when you side with MAGA. But hey, seems like a lot of people are confused these days. But you let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.
You saw how I hit that? Alright, cool. Thanks, gang. Also, professional dancer and choreographer. Explains the little jiggy I got going on. But alright, gang, I do everything. Stop playing with me. And I got proof. But anywho, I don't got proof nothing to y'all. Hopefully we had fun with this video. Catch y'all later. Do me a favor. Can y'all tag Young Don in this so he sees this video? I'm joking. I don't need y'all to do that. I'm joking. Alright, peace, y'all. Peace. Shot is out. My name's Shot. I forgot to say my name.